So myself and my partner Dave were both professional brewers. So 15 years ago, after I got out of college, I worked my way through college working in bars and restaurants, and I got out of school and continued to work in restaurants, and I was working at Rock Bottom, downtown Indianapolis, as a server. They had a position that opened up in the brewery. I got along with the brewers and edged my way into the position, and I've been making beer ever since. Dave and I definitely have a distinct idea about what and how we want our beers to be, and a lot of that is really rooted in our style. So, I often tell people that the thing that is unique about craft breweries is that craft breweries have soul. Beer is fun and interesting because there are so many different types of people, and people like different things. So, at the core of what Sun King is this core that is Dave and myself, and then our other partners who own the company, and everything kind of radiates out based on what we want it to be. Obviously, our brewery has a tasting room, so we're open Monday through Saturday. You can come in and you can try all the beers that are available. So literally for walking in the door, you have to drink it in 3-ounce sample sizes, but we buy you an entire pint of beer just for walking in. This end of the building is becoming our packaging hall, and so basically we start with raw materials, which we'll go to, and then we end up with beer. And all of the finished beer ends up over here. So each one of these is one giant tank that holds a whole lot of beer. So the biggest one holds 120 kegs of beer at a time, down to the smallest that holds 60 kegs of beer. And then all of this feeds to our packaging line. And tasting room, of course. So it's kind of a typical Friday afternoon.
Well, I have two favorites. My first favorite is cream ale, just because it's a lighter beer, and when I'm working in the summertime, it goes down pretty good. And then my second favorite is probably the Wee Mac.
This is our raw materials area. So beer is made from water, which of course is liquid and makes beer easy to drink, because we pick from this kind of palette of grain. The green stuff they're scrubbing with will eat your shoes off. That is our production area. 90% of any brewer's job is cleaning, so you'll notice everyone is in rubber boots. At the end of every week, we pretty much tear everything apart and scrub everything down from top to bottom so that we're ready to start up the next week. And these are fermenters. Basically, each one of these tanks makes a single batch of beer at a time. So generally speaking, the 13 is a 60 barrel tank, which is 120 kegs of beer. 14 is a 90 barrel tank, which is 180 kegs of beer. These kind of giant open spots here are where tanks that are now down. So basically on a given day, it takes about 12 hours from start to finish to brew a batch of beer. That batch of beer goes into one tank. We brew 2 or 3 times a day, which kind of overlaps, so we're usually in production for somewhere between 12 and 20 hours a day. And then everything gets moved into tanks where the yeast eats the sugars, creates beer, and then it all gets moved over to the final area where we work. And then I've got some coolers with a bunch of kegs and cans. These are kegs of beer. Basically what you see in here is, maybe 2 weeks worth of beer or less, and so we're on a constant rotation. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks from the day we brew a beer till the day it's ready to go. These are the same tanks as out there, but those tanks have jackets on them that we run cooling liquid that keep them cold. These stay at the ambient temperature of the room, which is about 35 degrees. And then cans of beer. So we can our beer because we believe that cans are the best vessel to put craft beer in. Your largest deterrents of beer are sunlight, oxygen, and heat. We negate heat because we keep our beer cold from the point in time where it gets cold in the process, and deliver and store it cold, which helps keep it better longer. And then cans lock out sunlight and oxygen, the other two deterrents of beer, in a way that bottles can't. So they basically have a tiny little keg that delivers draft quality fresh beer to your glass every time.